The 2025 Miami Grand Prix took place yesterday around the Miami International Autodrome. But what were the 5 things that we learned from the event? Well, that's what I'm here for, guys. Happy Monday morning to everybody. A late one in the UK last night for Formula Ones. I'm reviewing this first thing bright and early on Monday morning for you guys. So here are the 5 main highlights, the 5 things that we learned from the Miami Grand Prix of 2025. So let's start with Lando Norris. Now, he had a big opportunity here. He won the sprint race earlier in the week. And also on top of that, he was starting ahead of his teammate Oscar Piastri on the grid, 2 places in front of him, in fact, in P2. Now, Max Verstappen very much did make a mistake going into the first corner of this race, and that gave Lando Norris the opportunity to try and overtake him, but unfortunately for him, it didn't work out. Now, this was a dodgy incident to say the least, but I think overall the stewards probably did get it correct in terms of letting it go. It was a first corner, first lap incident. Lando Norris claimed that he was pushed off by Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen claimed that Lando Norris was never alongside. I think on the balance of things, given what you know about Max Verstappen, he should have been very, very circumspect about trying to pass him at that point. Lando Norris ran off the road, lost a bunch of places because of that. I think he was all the way down in P6 actually. Now, credit where it is due. From that point, Lando Norris recovered very well. He got eventually up to P2. Again, some people will point to the fact that he didn't pass Max Verstappen very quickly. Max Verstappen, though, he was proven to be very difficult to overtake, and I don't mean that in a negative at all. His defensive driving during times of this Miami Grand Prix was absolutely incredible, and he pushed both Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris to the absolute limit. He did all he could. Eventually, didn't really work out for Max Verstappen in the end. He ended up getting P4. George Russell jumped him in the pit stops. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, a key couple of errors really for Lando Norris. I'd say a key error in the first corner of the first lap. I wouldn't say him trying to overtake Max Verstappen was really a bad driving or whatever. It's just trying to overtake Max Verstappen is very difficult. He was fighting for all it was worth at the end of the day, which he absolutely has a right to do. In the end, Lando Norris had about a 9-second gap to Oscar Piastri by the time he got past Max Verstappen. He brought it down to about 3 or so seconds by the end of the race, but it is points dropped. It is another win for Oscar Piastri. I would say overall a better weekend for Lando Norris, not just in his finishing position, but also in his performance throughout the race. But that little mistake in the first corner, these things do add up, and Oscar Piastri doesn't seem to be making as many errors as what Lando Norris did. He really bided his time. Let's talk about Oscar Piastri for the second thing. He really bided his time. He did a fantastic job today. 3 wins in a row for Oscar Piastri in Formula 1. The first McLaren driver to win 3 Grand Prix in a row since Mika Hakkinen back in 1998. And what did Mika Hakkinen do in 1998? He won his first world title. Now, I said at the start of the season that Piastri was going to be a threat for the championship. People doubted me. People said he's not quite ready yet. But I thought, there's a chance he could very much do this, and he's really showing his quality. 3 wins in a row, 4 victories out of the first 6 rounds. If that was Max Verstappen doing that, if that was Sir Lewis Hamilton doing that, if that was Fernando Alonso doing that back in the day, Michael Schumacher, name your champion here, basically, you would say he's a shoo-in for the World Championship. Now, of course, Oscar Piastri has a long way to go. We're only a quarter of the way through the season. We've got 18 rounds still remaining out of 24, but it's looking really good for Oscar Piastri. That leading the championship, it's not huge, but the fact he's got this momentum going, 3 wins in a row, it's like, how is anyone going to beat him? We might find the answer out to that question in around 2 weeks' time at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix for round 7, but right now Piastri is doing an excellent job, and he's going to take some stopping. He really, really will. But I did mention George Russell before. That third thing I want to talk about, he got P3 in the end. It was not a good sprint race for him, unfortunately, but it was a really, really good Grand Prix on Sunday for him. Yes, he was fortunate. He ended up jumping Max Verstappen through the pit stops because, this was a one-stop race for everybody pretty much, but it was because of, I believe it was Behrman. I know Behrman and Bortoleto both had engine failures around the same sort of time, and we got a VSC for both of them. I believe this was for Behrman. He took the opportunity. He ran the tyres longer. There was a threat of rain around it. There was talk about rain playing a part in this race, but unfortunately, if you wanted a bit of action to spice it up, because it was not the most entertaining race overall on Sunday afternoon in Miami, we really needed that rain to happen, but unfortunately, it just missed the circuit. It was on the radar, but it just missed it by the smallest amount. We got a few drops on the camera, but nothing like what would be required to run intermediate tyres. So yeah, a great day for Russell. I do think a championship challenge is extremely unlikely for him, but he really drove well during this Grand Prix. Got another podium, so fair play to the guy. That is very much gaining ground on Max Verstappen, of all things. So We'll see how he gets on in the next round in Italy. But yeah, a good day for Williams as well. They were showing excellent pace. They didn't get any points in the sprint race because of an incident for Carlos Sainz and also a penalty to Alex Albon. But as far as I know at the time of recording, there are no penalties associated with Williams. They ended up finishing P5 for Alex Albon. He finished above both Ferraris. We'll talk about Ferrari, don't worry. But he finished above both Ferraris. What a day it was for him. Carlos Sainz in P9. He almost got P8 right at the end of the race. He did actually overtake Charles Leclerc as well. Got into what would have been P7 at that time, but at a VSC restart, I think the one for Bortoleto, he was caught out by the Ferraris. He was gazumped by them. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to actually get past them again. He tried to get past Lewis Hamilton through the final corner of the final lap, just a last minute desperate Dan lunge. Said Hamilton turned into him. No, mate, he was just turning into the corner that you were never going to make, choosing that braking point so late. But you don't win the lottery if you don't buy a ticket. Carlos Sainz bought a ticket, but his numbers did not come up, unfortunately. P9 for him, not amazing for him, but still double points for Williams. This has become the norm for them now. They are very much the best of the rest team. The only manufacturer outside of those top four to score any points during the Grand Prix today, so fair play to them. But God, Ferrari, let's talk about Ferrari briefly. I will do an in-depth video going over Ferrari and their mishandling of team orders. It was not, we were praising Ferrari. I was praising Ferrari anyway for their strategy yesterday in the sprint with Sir Lewis Hamilton. That pit stop strategy they did, changing to the dry tyres early, got him a podium finish in the sprint, but oh, it was a messy one today. P7 for Leclerc, P8 for Hamilton. Hamilton was team ordered out of the way. Lewis, Charles is faster than you, but he didn't really seem to get the message right away. Hamilton was on older tyres. He was not quite as quick as Leclerc. They were trying to get Kimi Antonelli, who was in P6. Hamilton took a while to actually let Charles Leclerc go, and that didn't really give Leclerc the opportunity to try and challenge Antonelli ahead. Maybe he would have got past him if he was quicker about it. We'll never know. But yeah, not too positive overall for Ferrari. Not a good day for them. Very much looking safe in P4 in the constructors. Mercedes doing a lot better than them. They got a podium and a sprint pole this weekend. It was a good weekend for Merc overall. And yeah, forget about trying to catch McLaren or Red Bull at this rate. It's not on. So Ferrari still have a lot of improvements needed, and they'll head to their home race, their true home race, the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix around Imola next time out. And if they're not performing well, the Tifosi, they ain't going to be happy about that. They will let their feelings be known, so we'll see what happens with that one, guys. But yeah, not the best race on Sunday. If you are going to watch the highlights of any Grand Prix or any race, I should say, from this weekend, do choose the sprint. The sprint was a lot better. I've got a full review of that out. That's 10 minutes long. This is only 8 minutes long. I've spent a bit more time explaining things for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the slightly longer review video here on the channel, guys. Have a fantastic day wherever you are in the world today. If you're in the UK, have a great bank holiday. If you're not in the UK, I hope you have a great Monday. But yeah, see you soon for more videos just like this. Like, share, comment, subscribe. As always, guys, have a fantastic day wherever you are in the world today.